Detective Alina Rowe had been to more crime scenes than she could count, but this one had a scent she couldn't shake: lavender, and something metallic beneath it. The hotel room was pristine, no signs of a struggle, no blood, just one man lying peacefully on the bed, his arms crossed over his chest like he'd tucked himself in for a long nap. "Name's Daniel Crest," said Officer Marcus, flipping open his notepad. "CEO of a private security firm. Found by the maid this morning. Room was locked from the inside." "Suicide?" Alina asked without looking up. "That's what it looks like." "But—" Marcus hesitated. Alina turned to him. "But the guy had a bullet wound to the heart. No weapon found. No blood splatter. Nothing." She frowned. "A clean kill. Too clean." She moved closer, examining the body. Daniel's expression was almost content. She noticed a photo on the bedside table, two people smiling at a beach. One was Daniel, the other a woman with dark eyes and a gentle smile. A note was tucked behind the frame. Alina slid on gloves and unfolded it. "Forgive me, Leah. I tried to fix everything. I failed, Leah. A girlfriend, wife." Alina turned toward Marcus. "Run a trace on any Leahs tied to him, and check the security footage. No one just disappears after pulling a trigger." The room fell quiet as the text took over. Alina stepped out into the hallway, the warm June breeze drifting through the open window at the end of the corridor. She hated cases like this, too neat, too fast. Every instinct told her the scene was staged. Later that evening, back at the precinct, she reviewed the footage. No one entered or left room 614 in the past 24 hours except Daniel, until the time stamp flickered. A full 17 seconds of static. Someone had scrubbed the feed. She leaned back, frustration rising. That's when her partner strolled in, Detective Cal Breyer. Alina had always found Cal infuriatingly charming. Too laid back, too confident, but also sharp. He tossed a folder on her desk. "Background check on your mystery man. Turns out our victim was being investigated for corruption, blackmail, and possibly arms dealing." The feds were sniffing around. Alina glanced up. "A lot of people might want him dead." "Exactly. And here's the kicker, he reported a stalker 2 months ago. A woman, no charges filed. Guess her name." She scanned the sheet. Leah Wells. Cal gave her half smile. "Looks like your victim might have made someone desperate." Alina stood, or made himself look like a victim. As they stared at Daniel's photo again, a silent chill passed between them. What if the man lying dead had orchestrated his own murder? Or worse, what if he wasn't the victim at all? Alina couldn't sleep. The image of Daniel Crest's peaceful face haunted her thoughts. He didn't look like a man in fear, or pain, or regret. He looked done, like someone who had gotten exactly what he wanted. Back at the precinct, the digital forensics team confirmed what she feared. The hotel's security footage hadn't just glitched. It had been hacked, rewritten. A ghost moment where someone likely entered or exited room 614 but left no trace, no reflection, no hallway audio. She leaned over the tech's shoulder. "Enhance the frame just before and just after the static." The tech complied. The screen sharpened. A flicker of something, a coat swaying. Too fast to catch a full image, but enough to confirm it. Someone else had been in the room. Then Cal showed up with coffee and his usual crooked grin. "So, ghost killers now." She took the cup, nodded. Her thanks, or someone very good at disappearing. He leaned against her desk. Let's talk about Leah Wells. I found her last known address. She moved 3 weeks ago. Left no forwarding. Cell's been off since Tuesday. That's 2 days before Daniel died. She had reason to vanish. Guess what else I found? An anonymous tip placed to an internal agency line. Claimed Daniel Crest orchestrated 3 hits in the last 2 years on people tied to a corruption ring he helped cover up. Alina froze. Who placed a tip? Cal held up a small audio recorder. Female voice. Disguised, but there's something familiar about it. They played the clip. You're looking at the wrong man. He isn't dead, not really. He became what he hunted, and now he's hiding in plain sight. Chills ran down Alina's spine. Not dead. It didn't make sense until Cal dropped the final bombshell. Medical examiner just called. The autopsy found traces of a rare paralytic drug in his system. Stops the heart, mimics death for a short time before metabolizing. Unless someone knows what to look for, they'd call it natural cardiac arrest. But get this, Daniel's tox screen vanished from the system an hour after it was uploaded. Alina's hand hovered near her holster. Someone's cleaning up, but why go to all this trouble? To disappear, Cal said, and maybe to hunt someone else. They stared at each other, the tension drawing tight. He stepped closer, his voice lower now. Alina, what if Leah wasn't running from him? What if she was trying to stop him? She swallowed. The idea terrified her more than she wanted to admit. Because the way Daniel looked at peace, maybe it wasn't the peace of a man leaving this world. Maybe it was the peace of someone shedding his identity and starting over. The address Cal had found led them to a rundown coastal neighborhood, peeling paint, overgrown gardens, and silence. A neighbor said Leah Wells left in a hurry. No boxes, no moving van, just a single bag and a cab in the middle of the night. She looked scared, the old woman told them, or maybe tired, like she was done being someone. The apartment was almost bare, but Alina noticed the bookshelf. Only 3 books remained, and, inside one, a photo. Leah again, but with a different man. Not Daniel. This man had a military cut and a badge clipped to his belt. The back of the photo was signed, "To L Love Always, M. Cal." frowned. That's not Daniel. No, Alina said. And Leah might not even be Leah. Fingerprints on. The photo confirmed it. Leah Wells was an alias. Her real name, Maya Lena. A former whistleblower in a failed corruption investigation tied to you. Guessed it, Daniel Crest's company. 2 years ago, she vanished. Everyone assumed she'd been killed. Alina stared at the case files. So she faked her death, changed her name, and then what? Tried to trap him, or warn us. Cal tilted his head. What if she fell for him, then found out who he really was? The idea hurt more than Alina wanted to admit. She didn't know this woman, but the way Maya smiled in that photoette wasn't fear. It was love. They tracked down the man in the picture, Detective Marcus Glenn, Internal Affairs, now retired. He remembered Maya well. She was brilliant, he told them, determined. I begged her not to go undercover, but she did it anyway. Said it was the only way to get to Daniel Crest. She didn't just want to stop him. She wanted to understand him. Did she ever say why? Alina asked. Marcus hesitated. She believed he wasn't born a monster. That someone turned him into one. She wanted to know if it could be undone. Cal crossed his arms. Was it? Marcus gave a weary smile. If it had been, she wouldn't have run. They left with one last piece of Intella's storage unit Maya had rented in her real name. untouched for over 6 months. Inside, they found her notes, her fears, her doubts, the evidence she collected on Daniel, photos, messages, surveillance. But there was one last page, handwritten and folded at the very bottom. It read, "He doesn't know I know, but he's changing. There's a kindness that slips through sometimes. I saw it when he helped that boy on the street, when he thought no one was watching. He's trying, but I'm not sure it's enough. If I disappear, it means he saw me watching him too closely." Alina closed her eyes. Maya had tried to bring the monster out into the light, but maybe the monster was still learning how to walk like a man, and maybe he loved her back. 3 nights later, Alina couldn't stop thinking about Maya's words. He doesn't know, I know. Daniel Cresta, man presumed dead, might be alive, but if he was, where was he hiding? She asked Cal to comb through rental records and utility usage in the city under aliases or new leases taken out in the last 72 hours. Cal worked like a machine, barely speaking. There was a subtle change in him lately. He had always flirted around the edges of emotion, but now he seemed quieter, sharper, almost protective. He showed up at her apartment just after sunset, rain still dripping from his coat. "I found something," he said. An apartment registered under the name Darren Cole, just across from the storage unit Maya used. Lease signed 2 days before Daniel died. Utilities turned on the day after. And this, he handed her a surveillance photo. Blurry, taken from across the street. A man entering the apartment complex, tall, coat drawn up. But the jawline, the build, it matched Daniel. Alina's heart beat faster. He's watching her. Maybe he never stopped, Cal said. And if that's true, she might still be close. They staked out the building the next morning. The apartment was on the 3rd floor, blinds drawn. No movement, no deliveries. But around noon, a woman in a red scarf exited a diner 2 blocks away. She crossed the street and took the back alley route head down, moving with purpose. Alina almost jumped out of the car. She's alive. Maya reached the complex and disappeared inside through the side door. Cal grabbed his badge. "We move." Alina hesitated. "No, not yet. Let's see what she does." 30 minutes passed. Then the window of the 3rd floor apartment cracked open slightly. A light flickered on. Shadows moved. Then nothing. When Maya finally came out, again, she wasn't alone. Daniel, his arm brushed against hers. They didn't speak. They didn't smile. But the way he walked next to her wasn't forceful. It wasn't fear. It was quiet, intimate, like 2 people who'd made peace with something terrible. Alina and Cal followed them from a distance to a park overlooking the bay. Daniel sat on the bench. Maya stood beside him. Alina lifted binoculars. She couldn't hear them, but Maya's lips moved, her voice calm. Daniel looked hollowed out, like a man who had finally dropped every mask. Then Maya did something strange. She sat down next to him, rested her head on his shoulder. Cal muttered, "What the hell is this?" Alina's throat tightened. She's not running from him. She's in love with him. Or maybe she still believed he could be saved. They watched in silence until the couple left separately, Maya in a taxi, Daniel vanishing into the shadows. Alina looked over at Cal. "We follow him." "No," Cal said, surprising her. "We follow her. She's the only one who knows what game he's playing, and the only one who might still be trying to win it." Maya didn't go home. Instead, her taxi dropped her in a quiet neighborhood, outside a small library that was just about to close. She stayed inside for 20 minutes. When she came back out, she had nothing in her hands, but her pace was quicker like. She was carrying something important. Even if it wasn't visible, Cal followed from a block behind, while Alina watched from across the street. Maya turned into a residential alley and disappeared behind a weathered brownstone. Seconds later, the faint scrape of a lock reached Alina's ears. Cal joined her, breath low. She's hiding something in there. They waited 10 minutes. Then 20. Maya never came out. When they finally entered the alley, they found that back door cracked open. Inside, the building was mostly empty. Dust coated the air. One unit on the second floor had a single table, a lamp, and a file folder resting in the middle open. Like a gift waiting for the right hands, Alina stepped forward and read the top sheet. Evidence linking Daniel Crest to the Elridge Arms scandal. Wire transfers, contracts, kill orders, the truth. Photos were clipped to documents, some with timestamps and signatures, enough to bury an entire corporation. Why would she leave this here? Cal asked. Alina turned a page. There was a note at the bottom, handwritten again. He promised he'd walk away, that he'd disappear and let the trail end with him. But he lied. If this reaches you, it means I've finally accepted it. I can't follow him down the path, he's still on. Cal's voice was barely audible. She still loves him. Alina nodded. But love wasn't enough. Not to forget what he did. Then she found one final envelope tucked behind the folder. It was addressed to her, to Detective Alina Rowe, inside. A simple letter. You've been watching me. I know you're right too. But I need you to understand, I didn't plan to fall for him. I thought I could change him. I thought love would make him stop. But people don't stop because they're loved. They stop when they're ready. And he's not yet. I'll stay close. Because if I walk away, no one will know when he becomes dangerous again. But if I stay, if I pretend I might be the only thing left keeping him from turning into what he used to be. Please don't. Arrest me. Just watch. From a distance, I'm trying to do the right thing, even if it breaks me. Alina exhaled slowly, the weight of the words sinking deep into her chest. She's not running from justice, she whispered. She's walking a razor's edge between love and responsibility. Cal stepped beside her, voice low. She's trying to keep a monster from waking up again, by sleeping beside it. Alina looked at him, searching his eyes, and for the first time she asked herself, if she were Maya, and the man she loved was the killer, would she walk away, or stay close? Enough to save what was left of his soul. 3 days passed. The evidence Maya left remained sealed in the precinct vault, untouched by orders from above. Too many names in those files. Too many powerful people. Alina wasn't surprised when Internal Affairs called her into a quiet room and told her to let it go. You've done good work, her captain said, avoiding her eyes. But this case is going nowhere. Daniel Crest is legally dead. No body, no charges. Walk away. Outside the room, Cal was waiting, arms crossed. Let me guess. They buried it. She nodded, deep. But they're watching us now too. If we push, they'll bury us along with it. Cal leaned against the wall beside her, their shoulders nearly touching. So what? We pretend it's over. No, she said. We play it smart. Like Maya, that night, they returned to the park where Maya and Daniel had sat together. Daniel was there alone this time. He sat on the same bench, gazing out over the water like it held answers. Alina approached slowly. Cal stayed behind, close but unseen. When Daniel turned, he didn't flinch. He just smiled faintly. "I thought it might be you," he said. "You walk like someone looking for truth or justice, but never peace." Alina didn't reply. She studied him. No fear, no guilt, just something strange in his eyes, a softness that felt almost honest. "I know Maya left you the file," he said. "I let her. She thinks she's watching me, that she can keep me from slipping." He tilted his head. "Maybe she can." "She still loves you," Alina said carefully. "And I still love her," he said simply. "But that doesn't undo what I've done." "Then walk into the light," Alina said. "Come with me. Let the truth out. Let the system work." Daniel laughed, quiet, dry, tired. "The system doesn't work. You know that. That's why you're here instead of reporting me." Alina stepped closer. "Then why not run?" He stood up, face to face with her now. "Because she's still here. And if I run, she'll follow. I won't let that happen." Alina studied his expression. Something flickered behind it. Regret. Or maybe acceptance. "You're not done, are you?" she asked. "No," he said. "But I want to be. Every day I try. I wake up and pretend I'm just a man who lost everything except her." The silence stretched between them. "Do you trust her?" Alina asked softly. "With my life." "Then listen to her. Let her keep you human." Daniel's eyes closed briefly. Then he opened them and said, "Will you let me stay free?" Alina didn't answer, not directly. She turned away and walked back toward Cal. Before she left the park, she looked back once. Maya had arrived. She walked slowly, cautiously, then sat beside Daniel. They didn't touch. They didn't kiss. But when he leaned forward, whispered something, and she smiled, it was more intimate than any embrace. A quiet moment between two people balancing on a wire stretched between redemption and ruin. Alina knew then what Maya meant in her letter. She wasn't saving Daniel. She was holding onto the last piece of him that hadn't died yet. Weeks passed. The news had long moved on from Daniel Crest's death. No body, no proof, just a name added to the list of corporate ghosts and a few quiet murmurs that faded into silence. Alina kept her distance, but she didn't stop watching. Sometimes, at odd hours, she would see Maya slip through the market or Daniel vanish into an alley just before sunrise. They never stayed long, never left a pattern, like two shadows orbiting each other in the ruins of their past lives. One evening, Cal brought wine to Alina's place. They sat on her balcony, watching the city lights flicker below, their silence thicker than any conversation. "You think he'll disappear for good?" Cal asked finally. Alina thought for a long time before answering. "He already has. What's left now is whatever Maya lets survive. She's the one keeping him human," Cal said quietly. Alina nodded. "And I'm the one making sure she doesn't lose herself in the process." They sipped in silence again until Cal said, "We're not going to arrest him, are we?" "No," Alina replied. "Not yet." He didn't argue, because they both knew if the world wanted justice, it had every chance to get it. But sometimes justice came in quieter forms, in choices, in burdens carried by the people left behind. The next morning, Alina found an envelope tucked into her windshield. No signature, no return address. Inside, just a note. "Thank you for not chasing ghosts. I see him trying now, in small ways." A child he helped cross the street. A letter he sent to one of the families he hurt. "It's not enough, but it's more than nothing." And when it ends, because one day it will, I'll make sure you're the first to know. It was Maya's handwriting. Alina tucked it away, knowing she'd never put it in a file or mention it in a report. It was part of the deal now, the one they all made without speaking. Some stories don't end with sirens or headlines. Some end in the quiet places where a killer learns to live like a man again, and where love, fragile, flawed, holds the knife back one more day.